Hello, welcome to an unprofessional tutorial. Today we're making pie crust. Katie had originally asked for a pot pie tutorial, so I'm dividing it into one for pie crust itself and then the other for assembling the chicken pot pie. Our first step is just mixing the flour and the salt together. You get your measuring cups and scrape them off as you go, like take a knife or spatula to make sure they're nice and level. And it's really easy. So pie crust is a great thing to start with because it's so few ingredients and so few steps. And it's also really forgiving. If you make puff pastry, you have to be very careful when you're rolling it out. If you make a dough that needs to rise, like a bread or rolls, you have to be a lot more careful about letting it sit and making sure your yeast is good. There's a lot more steps with other baking, but this one is a really beginner-friendly thing to make. I keep my butter in the freezer. When you work with it, it'll melt, and so I keep it in the freezer for making pie specifically. You don't have to. You could just keep it in the fridge like normal. But as you work with it and it gets warm, it starts to melt, and you want to keep cold. You want things to stay cold when you're making like pie crust, puff pastry, anything with butter. You're gonna want to try to keep it chilled. And my kitchen's kind of hot because it's hot here right now, and I tend to keep the windows open, and then your hands will also warm it up. So yeah, so just chilled butter, and we're just dicing it up and cutting and putting it in the into our flour and salt. We want to keep things cold, so this is some ice water, and I'm just going to add a little bit at a time as we go. So just drizzle it and mix it a bit, and drizzle it and mix it a bit, because you don't want to add too much and have a really sticky dough. And you just work it as you go, and it'll start to take. You'll feel it start to take form as everything starts to stick together a bit. You don't want to overwork it. You don't want to melt the butter a lot in your hands. You don't want to make a really tough dough. So just keep an eye on it as it starts to come together a bit. I'll try. I don't know how good the camera is, if you can see. I'll try to show it as best I can. Sorry. I'm doing all this on my phone, and I guess I didn't have enough memory storage to record this, so it cut out. I'm gonna make do with what I've got footage wise. I threw the pie crust in the fridge really quick, so I just like put water on it and popped it in the fridge because I wanted to save what was on my phone and get back to making this as. Sorry, this is not the smoothest first try tutorial. So because it is a little bit sticky, I'll add a little more flour, and that'll balance it out. So if your dough is too dry, add a little water. If it's too wet, add a little flour. Pie crust is super forgiving, thankfully, so yay that we started with something easy. Sorry about this, but I hope this helped, Katie. If you want to make your pie crust at home, you can fuck it up like I did, and it will still come out pretty good, and you can tell people you made homemade crust. we're going to saran wrap it, put this in the fridge, and use it the next day. You can store it in the freezer for longer, as long as it's in some kind of freezer safe container. It can stay in the freezer a couple months. It does need to go in the fridge overnight, at the minimum at least a couple hours. And thank you for watching. Sorry, hope this helped a bit, Katie. Thanks for watching, everyone who did. Thanks. Bye.